Born into a real fight wasn't right. Where can she dream here?
Oh, it's so good to hear that song again. It's so good to be back. Happy holidays, everyone. Welcome to 2024. My name is Zach Clayton, Community Pay It Forward, Community Dare to Care, and the pACT channel. Two things about the commercials you just saw, the little spots you guys just saw. Both of those gentlemen are part of the community mission to to serve our veterans. This is not just a show about our veterans, but this is a show about all of our military heroes that are struggling, going through difficulty with mental health and suicide ideation. This is our third installation of this event, and we've got a lot of news that is coming up. We've got sponsorships that are available to you. We're asking for donations of goods. We'll be talking about that towards the end of the show. We need your help to make this go. This show is already lining up to be the biggest one yet. Scary thing is, 22 hours is starting to look like it might not be enough time to get everything to go through. I don't know if I want to add any more hours. So I'm going to have to learn how to talk a lot faster, I think. But Z-World Webs and Mr. Steve Solis are two of the many people who are putting their heart and soul in with me with the program to talk about our wonderful, wonderful veterans and our military heroes who are out there and struggling with mental health issues. This is the first Wednesday of the month, and that means one thing. Kind of a catchy little tune. I actually haven't heard it in a while, and I really like it. Welcome to the Community Pay It Forward One Hope Wine fundraiser. This month, we're doing things a little bit different. As you can see, there's no Stephanie live with me, the goddess of the grape. She's with me in spirit. And actually, we've got her recorded. But now we're going to put the pieces together. I've pre-recorded the interview because there is a 4-hour time difference. Our guests are both in Spain and in Sweden. wonderful program that I ended up meeting them a couple weeks ago through a wonderful event about speakers, people who have podcasts and stuff like that. I ended up meeting Maria, and I sat there. And when she first started talking about what she was doing, my mind dropped. I was in shock. And I think you guys are going to understand why. This show, by the way, is recorded today because I got a wonderful surprise this holiday season, and my boy showed up at my doorstep. Happens every day, right? Hey, kids come home every. My son lives in Japan, and he showed up at my doorstep. So we have to take him back to the airport here in a couple days. So tonight, I get the distinct pleasure that while you're watching this, I'm going to be going and enjoying a dinner with my sons, my wife, my father, and Justice, my youngest son, his beautiful girlfriend, who is as close to me as a family member. So we're going to be out. We're going to be watching the game. Go Devils! Washington is not my favorite team, but my son's favorite team is the Washington Capitals. So we're going to go and we're going to watch the game together. And we're going to be supporting a wonderful organization called Buffalo Wild Wings in Loveland. The reason why they're wonderful, stay tuned to find out. They're teaming up with us to take part in the community mission to serve our veterans. Thank you, Buffalo Wild Wings. We're proud to be partnered with you again. It's been a long time. And I'm seriously thrilled that we're able to do this again. Oh, excuse me. Had the hiccups there for a second. That's interesting. So, but right now I'd like to present you with the absolute honor that I had today with this interview with two wonderful, wonderful human beings. They founded the Human Contract because they know, like we here at Community Pay It Forward and the Goddess of the Grape, Stephanie Simoes, have always said, no one has to go it alone when we all come together. Maria and Stefan put their heads together and they built with another individual that hopefully we'll get to meet in the halfway show. We'll find out. But they put their head together and built a program that's built on honoring others. Without further ado, I really would like to introduce you to Maria Dolores and Stefan Hines of the Human Contract. Very excited for this. I met Maria a couple weeks ago at a new network event that talks about speakers, and I was in there doing my thing, introducing Community Pay It Forward, talking about the event on the 22nd, and caught Maria's eye, and thankfully she reached out to me and said, hey, I would really like to talk to you. And when Maria, we had our conversation, I was so intrigued with what you guys are doing. I'd like to introduce Maria Dolores and Stefan Hines, the founders of the Human Contract. How are you both doing?
Really, really great. And we're so happy to be here with you on this show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am so excited about the 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 prospect of what we can do together, because you guys in the human contract, you guys take and put different wording on the same thing that we're trying to do, and make sure that you're trying to give everybody a chance, because everybody deserves a chance to live a happy and healthy life. Please tell me, what is the human contract?
Yeah, thank you. So, Zach, the 7 principles of human dignity is the human contract, and that we are born with our rights. Every single human being on the planet, we are born with rights, and the rights derives from United Nations Declaration of the Universal Human Rights. But then we also have responsibilities, and we mature with our responsibilities. So the first 3 principles is about our physical and mental health. And then the coming 3 is about our relationships. And the last is about us as a humanity, that we also we united, we have rights and responsibilities.
That's, like I said, it's, to me, it just fits with what we're trying to do as well. And just to let everybody know, we're doing this a little bit different. Stephanie is going to be joining me in a couple hours, and we're going to do our part. With Stephanie's move to build the homestead for her family and the veterans, her schedule's gotten very busy. So this is going to be a little more maybe of the norm. We're still trying to work it out to where you're going to see me do a lot of the interviews, and then Stephanie and I are going to get together. She is still very much involved and very much wanting to support everything that we're doing. So you guys know how important this is to her as well. Stefan, how did you guys find each other? Because where you guys both come from the same country, you're a couple.
Sure.
You're a little far away from Maria now.
Yeah, so we're both Swedish, but I happen to live in southern Spain since 7 years back. Has nothing to do with what we're doing here, but the last half decade or so, I've been very much involved with sustainable businesses, not just environmental, because that's what's the first thing people think about when they say sustainable, but I really talk about sustainable businesses, that everyone is involved, it's sustainable, and everyone wins. So I've done that for a couple of years, and during lockdowns and COVID and all of that, everyone turned onto Zooms. So, and I got connected through someone, I think it was John Donnelly, that he met Maria, he met me, and said, "You guys need to meet." And that's networking. And it took a year before we actually met face to face. But so that's how we come across. And I how should I say? Yeah, I work from Spain, and that's I'm Swedish. That's it.
You guys also have another partner who is in Dallas, Texas. He is your American leg of your tripod. He is the one who is working hard to push the program and introduce the program here in the United States. Tell us a little bit about Daniel, Maria.
Oh, Daniel is amazing. I'm so happy that I have such a great team. Daniel is working with security, and his background is very solid within security, and Stefan is great in how he has supported to create this solid sustainable foundation that we are creating. So yeah, it's I'm really, really happy. And, I feel sort of semi-American myself, because my mom lived half her life in United States. She lived in California between 1960 and 1972 in San Francisco. I lived in Los Angeles for a year. and that my mom lived the last 17 years in Florida, in Sarasota. So and my brother lives
Oh, okay.
so yeah. So my heart is really with America, and now it's time to launch the human contract, and to assure that, talk about, to have a discussion about that we have both rights and responsibility as humans.
All right.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Let me ask you this really quick, Stefan. You were talking about sustainability. One of the easiest things to sustain are human abilities, right? I mean, when it comes to life, when it comes to business, you need happy, healthy humans to continue to do business. Is
Yeah, okay. So I would say my contribution to the human contract is rather the organization setup and the way that this organization can live for over 100 years. Um, initially, we are a traditional foundation that, of course, need the philanthropic help to get going. But the structure we set up is to be self-sufficient in 5 years, not depending on donations and sponsors forever, because this is a huge task and that will jeopardize the whole idea if we are suddenly running out of funds 5 years down the line. So my contribution is here to set up the structure. Um, that's the sustainability part, I would say.
we're looking at your at the website now, and I think the greatest thing about the website is you're showing, and I love the picture of the fists in the air, because that just shows that this is about diversity. This is taking human beings as one race, and that's the human race, and making sure that we treat everyone with that respect, with that honor, because we're all, when it comes to it, we're all the same, and we should all be treated the same.
We
Um,
should, we should all be treated the same, and have mutual respect, and dignity is really a core value for us. I've helped my friend in her funeral business for 5 years, and in last year I was speaking at the World Peace Conference here in Stockholm, and was the keynote speaker, and I talked about how I worked with dignity, and to see all religions, all the major religions, and how I worked with over 4,000 deaths, all over 4,000, both casketing, and also with great dignity and respect in different and various religious ceremonies. Christian, Buddhist, Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, and also secular religions and ceremonies. And no matter age, no matter background, I casket the guy who lived on the street for 15 years, as well as the lady in the Chanel dress, and with the same dignity and the same core value, which is really the core also for the human contract. And that it's a contract that you sign for yourself, with yourself, and for humanity. It's not a contract with me or Stefan. It's really, like you mentioned in our previous conversation, a grassroots movement for humanity.
I love underneath the sign there that says "Welcome welcome to the human contract, human rights and human responsibilities." We all have responsibilities to each other to take care of each other. I close out every show by saying, "Take care of each other, because we're all we got." we're not, none of us are a different species. We're all the same.
Mm.
We all ought to be treated the same.
Mm.
For a world in a state of grace. Another beautiful, beautiful comment. You guys are run on. Oh, I guess if I tried to move the right, one here, you guys are run on the 7 principles of human dignity. I would like to go through the 7 one at a time. And you guys can, I'd like to get a comment from both of you on each one, okay? The first one is the principle of body. And this is, we have the right to bodily integrity. We have the right, we have the responsibility towards our body. Maria, what is your comment on this?
Yeah, when we are born, we come to this world and we are given a body. So that's all we know. And it's that we have both rights. So we are born with our rights and we mature in our responsibilities. And as an infant, we need help with our responsibilities. And the 4 pillars, or the 4 fundaments of the first principle, is our rights and responsibilities for our sleep, how we eat, and that we eat nourished food. So sleep, food, exercise, and then touch, because touch is really a fundamental core for us as people. It's also connected with how we have the nervous system and everything. So yeah.
Okay, Stefan, what would you like to add to that?
Yeah, as a general, for all the 7 principles, I would say we're so used to know and make use of our human rights, but it's always comes together with the responsibility. But I tend to answer this question by saying we kind of outsourced the responsibilities to someone else. So in the name of your own body, we outsource that to other people instead of taking our own responsibility on how to treat our own body. So we blame the gym instructor or the doctor for not giving the right medicine or whatever. But first and foremost, you have your own responsibility as long as you can go to take care of yourself. But it's super easy just to sit back and let someone else, I use my right, fix me, rather than be proactive and say, I'm going to fix myself. I'm going to take my own responsibility for myself. And this goes through all the 7 principles, honestly.
Thank you, Stefan. I agree.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Second, we have is emotion. We have the right to our emotions. We have a responsibility for our emotions and to breathe emotions.
Yeah.
What does
what does it mean to breathe emotions?
Right.
Yeah. So it's I give an example, like when my mother died. She died in Florida. And how I was with her when she died, and I restored her integrity and made her beautiful and nice. And then she passed on. And then I was 2 days after, I was breathing emotions, and I was breathing emotions fast. It means, so I went into a room. I said to my brother, I need to be alone. And then I took a pillow and I hit the, I was getting out lots of anger, rage. I was so mad. And then underneath the anger was cry and sadness. And then underneath that, it was more anger. And then I was laughing because it was all so turbulent. But it's that we have the right to all our emotions. We have the right to our anger. We have the right to our frustration. but this also indicates that there is something underneath that, and to be curious about our emotions. So we have both rights and responsibility, and of course, not to act out all the time our emotions onto others, but to take responsibility.
Stefan, how does this tie into the emotional steps? As Maria was just talking about, you have fear, anger, sadness, remembering all those. You go through all those steps. Like she said, when she lost her mom, you have different steps that you go through. How does the second principle affect those, or how is it affected by those?
I would like to say, whenever we are sharing or oversharing our emotions with others, we are pointing fingers and say, you did something wrong, you did
Yes.
something bad. But if you look at my hand, there are 4 fingers pointing this way. So maybe that has something to do how I'm getting treated. It's how I act on my emotions. So it's more, if I do it in a way that I would like to be treated, it's a bigger chance that I will receive that in any way of these emotions that you can share with the world in different ways.
Yeah.
I really like that, because it's not, once again, when you're pointing at somebody and you're blaming them, you really got to think. I like the analogy of how many fingers are pointing back at me. How am I taking this? Am I taking this in the right way? Is somebody saying something and I'm just flying off the handle because my emotions are are not under control? So I what a wonderful, wonderful answer. The third principle is thought. We have the right to free thought. Oh,
Yeah.
we have the responsibility for those thoughts to broaden perspective. Beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. And so that refers to that, we are born, and it also follows our development as humans, with the body, and then we have emotions as an infant, and then we start to formulate our thoughts, and that we do have the freedom of thought. We have the right to think any kind of thought, and also to the responsibility to trying to broaden perspectives. And it refers to what we call istima. Istima means learning, or actually it means life learning. It's from a fictive language, and it's when you go from one if you go from one perspective and you shift perspective, or you go from, some people call it, level of consciousness. If you go from one level of consciousness and you shift, you don't go from here and just raise consciousness. You dive into the emotions that we were talking about earlier, but also our thoughts. So diving into the thoughts and struggling with thoughts. And I know every entrepreneur, every person have their own process of broadening perspectives and to be more curious. But we have the right to the whole range of being also close-minded, and then but it's an indication that there are other perspectives to be discovered.
The not being open, and I have a dream, I guess is the best way to put it, that I would like to someday write a book where I talk about the similarities and the differences of different religions, not to compare and contrast religions, but to make others aware of the reasoning behind some of the conversation there. I think that has a lot to do with what you I think that there's a lot of there's a lot of synergy there in between this principle and that book. Stefan?
Yeah, I'm thinking, of course, we can have any crazy thought that we want in our head. We can't practice it. And that's of course obvious. My story is maybe my personal experiences when I went through my divorce, and we went through therapy, both of us, and learning not to act on what I thought she done, she said, she have not done, and so, and open my mind and open my thinking. There is actually another alternative than my first thought, my first in the moment I wanted to reply on something, but oh, there is another version of this. There is another layer of this. She has another thinking of this question. That period, that really I learned that, okay, there are more perspectives in all the kind of thinking you can do. And you just need to be open to it, to embrace that and say, hey, I had one thought. It doesn't mean that's the one and only single truth. So for me, that period in my life learned to just sit back and listen and to understand what the other person is talking about, their thoughts, rather than me pushing on mine.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
If
That is
if
such a
we
great
would,
example. Thank you, Stefan.
yeah, if we would all remember that, what, we all have thoughts. It doesn't mean they're always right, and it doesn't mean that they're always wrong. It means that, maybe somebody's thinking of something similar but not right on, and it's also a perception of that other person's thought. If we really take and we understand what they're saying, maybe we are closer to one than we think. So I love that, because we're in a world right now where, living with somebody is very, very difficult as it is. And if you want to take and shift 100% of the blame on somebody, it's just not going to work out. So the
And
fourth principle. Oh,
yeah,
go on ahead, Dolores.
and that's also why the first three principles, and why it's important that the first three principles is just the commitment and the promise we make to ourselves, and that we take rights and responsibility for our physical and mental health. And then we have the coming three, which is interpersonal. Yes.
Yeah, I know that the second principle and the third principle really tie in together. I mean, they really, really do tie in together, really, very tightly. And so I'm interested to see how the rest of these go. The fourth principle we have is movement, and we have the right to freedom of movement. We have the responsibility in our movement to respect others, laws, and policy.
Yeah, exactly. So again, with the infant moving along from the body, emotion, and our thoughts, our thinking, and then the movement. And this is also connected to United Nations Declaration of the Universal Human Rights, that we have the freedom of movement, which is, both in how we act and how we move in the world, but also to create movements. And the fourth principle is also connected to power, to take your rightful space and place in the world, and to use, it's how you use your time and your energy. It also ties to our financial power and our sexual power, and how we act and interact with each other as humans, and to not to act and take your responsibility over any other, but not to make yourself small either. So this is and creating lots of istima in our relationships, how we act and how we interact, and it's a constant learning as a human. So yeah.
Wow. Stefan?
Yeah, I would maybe take the example. I'm Swedish. I happen to live in European Union, which Spain is a part of. And within that European Union, we have the freedom of movement. The responsibility, though, is down to me to take care of me. So I'm not a burden to Spain. I will see to that I run my life, and I will not push Sweden on Spain. It's my responsibility to be a part of this country, this culture, this language, and be responsible of myself and my acting here. For example.
Very good.
I really like that, and that could work from state to state or home to home.
Exactly.
I live this way, but that doesn't mean that you should have to live that way to placate me. Wonderfully put. The fifth principle is communication.
Yeah.
We have the right to communicate, create, express ourselves freely. We have the responsibility towards what we communicate and express, aiming to converse and create with dignity and respect for both ourselves and others.
Yeah. This is also the learning, right? The learning of that we have, and we are born with our rights to express and to create. The artists are creating, and I think there's an artist in all of us, and how we have the freedom of expression. I have lots of friends who are reporters and journalists, and they stand on the barricades, for the freedom of speech. But with that freedom also comes a responsibility. And it's a matter of how we speak, how we express. And when we notice, both in relationships, like in Stefan's and mine as a co-founder and founder, and we're talking about, and we're learning with respect to listen to each other, because that's really the core of the human contract, and to be living the human contract, and how we act and interact with each other, and how we express. And it's a learning. It's a great learning. And yeah,
I like this one, because this also puts an onus on dignity and respect for both ourselves and others. This is, you've got to treat yourself with, you got to treat yourself with respect to be able to respect others. So, Stefan?
Yeah, I think this maybe came very close to everyone during COVID. Because then we have the pros and cons, all the, how should I say, rage and emotions that was built upon my beliefs, or if that was black or white, or if that's right or left, or whatever that was. So I hope, or that we are learning from that, and we should take our human right to have freedom of speech, as long as I don't push it on you. You need to believe what I say. You need to act what I talk about. Is more, but I can say what I want to say, as long as I'm not, doing anything illegal, or sending one to, on the wrong directions. But there is a lot of, how should I say, concern in the world today of self-censoring, which is actually more dangerous than censoring, because then we don't even get to understand what you wanted to say from the beginning, because you censored yourself.
This is one that right now in the world is very this is a huge problem right now in the world, and I know that we made the commitment to where we weren't going to be talking a lot of politics, and I'm not going to. But this is one right here that you know, like you just said, we have the right to say whatever we want. That doesn't mean that we have the right to push that on other people. It doesn't.
Yeah.
Go
and
ahead.
you're right, we have the right, not everyone on the planet has.
Right.
Yeah.
Far from it, far from it. So here we are not just talking about the responsibility of this, it's also the human rights that we are not seeing in many countries in the world.
Yeah, I actually, you know, this is a little bit of foreshadowing that we're doing here. I have a question coming up very similar to that after we get done with these. So, and how this all ties into that. So I'm excited that you brought that up. But yeah, I have a question coming up about all that. The sixth principle is life. We have the right to our life, to live with whomever we choose, where and how we wish, but not at a detriment to others. This includes all life forms. We must respect all life.
Yeah, exactly. And so the human contract is the promise you make to yourself, for yourself, and for humanity, that from the day we are born until we die, to take responsibility, to live your rights as a human, but also to take responsibility for your life and to respect other lives. And how we um, you know, how we mistreat the planet, and like Stefan was referring to earlier, is also the fact that we do have about 45 million slaves in the world today, all over the world. We have never had as many slaves in numbers through our human history. And that means, you know, how many people are around that, buying and selling other humans is horrible, and we need to end it. And this is the movement and the support for everyone to take their responsibility for their life and to respect other lives.
Yeah. There's a lot of times that people, Maria, with what you were saying, they only see the slavery as a black and white thing in the United States. That's not the way it is. With trafficking, with you know, just military force, with military forced enslavement, with everything like that. We need to remember that slavery is not something that was exclusively in the past, and we got to be careful, as in our own human contract, we have to be careful that we are not participating and allowing this slavery to happen by our actions. We need to be careful on what we do, because we can unwillingly know or unknowingly support slavery by a choice that we make. So that's something that we've really got to watch out for. Stefan, what's your take on this?
Two completely different ones. One is, I read a documentary many years ago about cocaine and how cocaine is produced mostly in South America, taking it through the jungle, with the ships, into Europe, into the streets for people's joy or whatever satisfaction here. And most of the people that I speak to that uses this, what does it matter? It's only this much. Maybe, I take responsibility for my body. It will not matter to me. No, but you didn't take into account that they calculate that 1 kilo of that white powder on a street in Europe is one human life. Somewhere along that line, you are killing someone else by using that. And that is not taking responsibility for life. Secondly, we now move to Spain, and maybe you hear one of my dogs barking behind me here. So we moved here, and it's a completely different way and responsibility and a view of what life is and the value of life. In this case, we're talking about is pets, so cats and dogs. And compared to Sweden, they are 100 years behind. They still have kill animals for fun on Sundays. So they go to this arena and killing bulls, and they teaching kids and applaud and laugh and have joyful events on killing animals. This, of course, goes down to when they come home, they practice that on the cat or dog. And when they're done, they just leave it on the street. We come here as Swedes and see this, and we're like, we can't live like this. So we turned our home into a sanctuary for cats and dogs. We can't just pass by them and see them and don't give. So taking care of life is precious, not only human life, also animal life.
Yeah.
I watched a story, Stefan, the other day on one of the major news networks about how dog fighting is once again heavily prevalent in America, and that's just you saw some of the cutest little pit bull puppies that are turned into entertainment, and they're bred to die. That's it. I have 5 dogs myself. Okay, we have 5 dogs in my household, and I could not imagine using one of those just for destroying the life of another animal. They're like my kids, and if you treat them right, that's what they can be.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
Maria, you were going to say something?
No, I think it was a great example, Stefan, and your wife Linda, she's doing this foster care home for dogs and cats, and you build a beautiful life and yeah. Oh, you should have her on some other day, Zach. She has a heart of gold. She's so amazing.
We're more than willing to promote anybody who's doing good. So, but yes, Stefan, it does. It sounds like a wonderful life. Sounds a little noisy, but it sounds like a wonderful life. This is probably and this is kind of funny. Anybody who's watching my show, this is probably the longest I've ever went without one of mine coming up and joining our broadcast because they're always on my shoulder. So I've got 2 animals that think that they're my co-hosts. So, but I'm pretty sure now that I've said something, it's coming up.
Yeah. So the last.
The 7th one is the 7th principle is collective. Yeah. Collectively, we have rights as humans to live side by side as neighbors, cohabitate in suitable environments. This is fundamental to our existence. We have collective responsibilities, civil courage, and to stand up against injustices for all life on earth.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And that's why we built the human contract to be, the promise for yourself. And the first three is personal. The coming three is how we act and interact with each other. And the seventh principle is about us as a union. um, and collectively, how it sort of summarize our rights, our human rights, which is based on United Nations Declaration of the Human Rights. But also collectively in Swedish, we call this civilkurage, which is moral courage. And to encourage our encourage our courage to step up for one another. If I'm on the metro here in Stockholm, or if I see something that is not right, it's our collective responsibility to step up. And this sort of ties together all the other principles, all the other promises, that collectively and united we can make a change, we can make a difference, and we can end slavery, and we can do it now. But it's when the people who are working and acting and being in these clusters of indignity, with abuse, and when people can unite and say, this is wrong, we're not doing it anymore. And I'm thinking of how we had, in 1989, when I was actually living in US. I was living outside of Los Angeles. We had the Berlin Wall falling down because people on both sides said, no, we won't do this anymore. And people were just, going across this wall and tearing down the wall. And also the soldiers that were standing there did not intervene, even though that was their job, actually, to be killing people. But 1989 was a big breaking point, because it just come to that point where people said, enough of this. We want to unite, and we want to collaborate better, and we want to tear down the wall of fear. I think it was the symbol of that, really.
In the early 70s, we lived in Berlin. My father was in the service, and we lived in Berlin, and our apartment overlooked into East Germany. We could see the wall. The wall went right across our apartment, okay, right outside of our apartment. And there's a picture of me as a child looking, both hands on the window, looking down, and you could see into the east, over the into the east side of the wall. When the wall came down, that was something where it was earth shattering as an act. But to me personally, it was one of those things, knowing and having a connection to that wall. It was something that I will never forget. The words of Ronald Reagan when he asked Gorbachev to tear down that wall. And I knew, just because of my personal experience with it, I knew how good that was for humanity.
Yeah.
So I love that you brought that up. Stefan?
The human right of the collective life, so to speak. I'm from Sweden, and we kind of outsourced that to the government, or to organizations, or other NGOs, or someone else, to take care of the things that we could handle ourselves if we just unite and come together. When you have children, and at least in Sweden, when we live in a city, you walk in the small town you live in at night to see that they are not out and getting drunk or in fights or whatever. And that's just volunteer work. and I can't send someone else because it's my kids. I need to just do that walk because that's my kids out there. But this is exactly the same with any question that you come across in your life. If you just continue to say, no, that authority take over that, and that organization have that responsibility, I do nothing.
Right.
We
Like there's quarrel over there. Let's call the police. Or oh, the it's something in the school. Well, that's the school's problem. It's not my problem. Or pushing out. Exactly. Yeah.
So I think this is central for everything that we do in human contract, and I would say this is the grassroots movement. This is the community coming together, because this is not me and Maria and you, Zach. It's
Mm.
thousands and thousands and thousands of people that say, hey, let's get together, let's fix this, let's unite, let's get it back on. And so this is the central one, I would say, for everything.
Yeah. And that beyond religion, beyond party politics, we're all just human. So yeah, we can make a difference.
And we've all found our level in humanity and in happiness and in all of that within our religion, within our party politics, within our race, within we've all found a level of happiness there.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that we need to take in and step on someone else's thoughts because they're a little bit different.
Right.
It means that we should, you can have those discussions without demolishing someone else's beliefs.
Yeah. Yes.
I have an uncle that I love dearly, that he and I politically, we stand miles apart. And it's one of those things that, he and I, we discuss politics, but we both know that there's just a certain place that, we don't go there. We talk freely. We talk every day. And we end these conversations with, I love you. Have a great night.
Yeah.
We end those conversations that way because it's not worth tearing someone else down and tearing a relationship apart.
Right.
We have that freedom to feel.
Yeah.
We don't have the freedom to hurt someone else. It's not dignified.
Right.
And I think that, there's no dignity in that. There's no strength in it.
Right. And also with the freedom of expression and the freedom of communication and creation, it's also because some weeks ago, unfortunately, we had some people burning books here in Sweden.
Mhm.
And it was a very sad moment for me, because it stirred a couple of 100 million people up, and they were very, very angry. And then the people who did this were like, well, so what? It's my freedom of speech. It's my freedom of expression. But if you do and you say things, which we do, we're human, right, Zach? So we do things and we say things that are like, well, maybe that was not so good. And so the responsibility is to stay in communication and to listen and to try to understand the other perspective. So if you are doing things or saying things that you notice, like, oops, that was offensive, it's to stay in communication and trying to listen.
It's definitely well worth thinking before you speak. Make sure that you're saying what you really want to say instead of just taking and blurting something out there and with the risk of hurting someone else. Stefan, here's the question back to what you were saying earlier. We have countries all over the world, and I'm not going to pull one out of the hat, and I'm not going to say it. We have countries all over the world where government or military action or something has their thumb firmly on the people of their country. How can we, as part of the human contract, how can we do things to positively affect them, even though there's going to be pushback against us?
Love the question. First of all, I think it's not done in a day. It will take a generation or two. And let me take another example. I support a charity in Uganda that has, for the last 20 years, run a school for orphans and for mostly deaf or what do you call it, dumb? Deaf or dumb children. So with issues, problems in life, and they also live in Uganda and have no parents. So, and in that part of the world, corruption is a kind of a big thing. I've been there, so I also seen it myself. So, what they do in this school is because they realize that the older generations already in the system. They already taught by their parents and their surrounding that this is how it works. So what they do at this school, they have a magazine, what's it called? Toy magazine, a children's magazine, cartoon magazine, is it called? Yeah. Where corruption is the bad guy, is the big bad wolf, is the monster in all these stories. So they teach the children this is the bad version. So, and there is where we're going to do the change over time through children saying there is an alternative. You don't have to be in that system. You can break free as a human, as long as you also take the responsibilities that comes with these rights in all these 7 principles that we just talked about.
Yeah.
It's not done in a day, but over generations, these people, the children will grow up and they will be in charge and they will be pushing that further and further. The other alternative is do nothing and say, hey, it's been like this forever and it's going to end like this forever. Or we say, no, let's change.
Yeah.
Because we have countries in the world that have changed, that have come out of this. Yeah. So there is a chance, there is a possibility. And I'm one of them that can say, I don't want to sit and just look do nothing.
Yeah, no regime has lasted throughout humanity. Right. No regime has ever lasted throughout humanity. Dare I say, no religion has lasted throughout through humanity. You know, so things change, and if we work together, as we always say, no one has to go it alone. When we all come together, when we all work together, we can make huge difference for other people.
Yeah, and that's also why we have created a foundation to work on long term. This is not, something that is a quick fix. It's not something, but we need to start to have the conversation now. And Stefan and I, we're so excited that we're starting this year in United States, and to have this movement starting. However, I have friends in over 100 countries, I would say, and I know that my friends say that this is brilliant, Maria. My my doggy, my friends in Asia, in Europe, and in America and South America, people say that, the human contract is really what is needed, and it's not religious, it's not party political. This is about humans taking a stand for themselves and with themselves. And so no matter what kind of organization you have in your country, hello sweetie, no matter what
Told you one of them was going to pop up.
yeah.
So,
What's the name of your dog?
this one here is Ghost. Yeah,
It
he
is
he
Ghost.
yeah,
Oh,
that
yeah.
one's Ghost. So,
So,
but
so no matter the organization form that you have in your country, it's really about you taking a stand for yourself and how you will act and interact in the world. So yeah.
well, I know that it kind of went in a little bit of a different direction, and you guys decided to be more localized and take what you're doing and not stop and not. I don't even see it as a slow down thing. I think it's more of a targeted targeted introduction that I think can just only help you grow. Tell me this, what are some of the things, and we all know that money is vital to organizations. Outside of money, what are some of the things that people can do to support the human contract?
Stefan, do you want to?
Okay, yes. Sorry. Yeah. So of course, to support us by signing the on the website, you can sign up for the human contract. Again, it's not signing it with us; it's signing it with yourself. Yeah, exactly there.
Yeah.
And so you are one in the team taking a stand, helping us to grow this going forward. We
Mm.
will build out this website very, very soon with more options on this, but that's a first thing to do, and just sign up there.
Right.
We are planning to roll this out very soon in 2024 in the US, and everyone in America, please get in contact with us so we can work together to spread this together.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
You're
So to sign up and to join us, and I would also love to come and speak and have speaker engagement and to share and to talk more about this. And yeah, of course, we would love donations
mhm.
to keep this movement going. How we deepen, we could call it to deepen democracy, or how we stand up better for ourselves and one another.
I think one of the things that we've learned here in this wonderful hour that we've spent together, one of the things that we've really focused on, and I think is vitally important, is you need to speak. You need to take action. We all know what's right. We all know what's right. Deep down, when you know you're doing something you're not supposed to, you know you're doing something you're not supposed to.
Mm.
We need to stand up for other people. We need to make sure that we're not harming other people. Um, you know, like I was mentioning before, if you are, if you're participating in any way in the drug trade, as you said earlier, Stefan, there's a human aspect to that. It is a disease. Human, being addicted to drugs, it is a disease, and it is a tough disease. But you need to realize that this isn't only your life, this isn't the life of your family that you're affecting. There are other people in other countries that paid the ultimate price for this. Cartels take over governments and rule
Mm.
lives on a misconception that they're doing wonderful things for people quite often.
Yes.
So, I mean, yeah, they'll purchase a new soccer field, but how much blood was, you know, how much blood was spilled for that one soccer field, and how many how many people were torn down for that one soccer field. So um I would like to ask Maria, can I get any final words from you, please?
I'm I'm really really happy to be here and to collaborate with you, and I'm so excited about 2024 and how we are moving forward. Um, you know, peace in the world starts from within. It starts with how we treat ourselves, our body, our thoughts, and our emotions, and then how we move about in the world. So, yeah, sign the human contract and join us.
Absolutely,
Promise
Stefan.
yourself. It's a promise to yourself. Yeah.
There you go,
Mm.
Stefan.
Yeah, how you say it? Echo that 100%. And what can I add to this? I just want to repeat the last seventh principle, the promise of uniting. I do believe that it's built in the DNA of humans that we can conquer any problem when we come together for one cause. And if that cause is to keep us being human and friendly and work together, hey, no one is losing, everyone is winning. Let's do it together.
I Again, people are sick of hearing me say it, but no one has to go it alone when we all come together.
Mm.
This right here proves that I'm not the only one that thinks this. That we at Community Pay It Forward are not the only ones that think this. The human contract is standing right there beside us, and we're standing right beside them. The human contract is, we are working diligently. You guys are joining the program, so you can support the human contract by simply shopping with any of our partners, as well as the human contract is our our organization of the month. So anytime that you buy any One Hope wine for this month, you can support the human contract. We will be right back, and we will have the goddess of the grapes, Stephanie Simoes, is going to be joining us, and she's going to be doing her part. And you can learn more about how you can take and turn 2024 into support for wonderful organizations like the Human Contract. Maria, Stefan, thank you so very much for spending this last hour with me. It
Thank
was
you.
eye-opening and wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
feels like it has been months since we did our last podcast. And the funny thing is, Stephanie, you and I did my last podcast together. So, and now we're back and getting into the swing of things. You
Happy New
were
Year,
able-
everybody.
Yeah. Yes, definitely Happy New Year. And what a great way to begin this new year with the human contract. You had a chance to watch over the interview. You want to give me your
Amazing.
thoughts?
Oh my gosh. Okay. First of all, I'm so sorry that I couldn't be present and live on that because it was such an impactful conversation. I need to start with, though, Maria, your hair rocks. Okay. I had to say it. No, but in all seriousness, I just love their partnership for this movement. You can see how strong like their commitment to all of this is. Great conversation, incredible work they're doing. They really, I think that they seem to have similar principles like that I grew up with my Italian grandparents. I mean, European kind of values and things. When hearing them speak, that kind of brought that up for me, at least. The message that they're getting across with their movement, you know, of responsibility, respect, communication, it's really so refreshing to hear this message. You know, we work with
No. My
Oh,
son
I'm
just
sorry.
came into the room.
I was like, wait,
Sorry about that.
no.
No, that was my son came into the room. He didn't know I was
saw your
recording
cue.
again.
No, it is really so refreshing to hear this message. We work with so many different organizations, and this I found to be really unique. Taking responsibility with what we have rights to be able to do is such an appropriate conversation. I feel like even just right now, the slavery piece, the whole cocaine production piece, you know, such great topics that were being brought up, and you know that those kind of hit me in some place too, personally, you know, even with what we do with Footprints Forward, Zach. So
and you know, and like you said, it was just the awareness that there are such tiny things that leave a giant imprint on others' lives. You know, like you said, it may only be a gram of cocaine, but how many lives were lost?
right. I mean, and
know?
you know that I lost someone just last year also, you know, and had that not been made and distributed and all that, maybe that wouldn't have happened, right? So I think we need to place more value on human life and how it's impacting people. I know Maria mentioned, like, you know, in one portion she said, oh, well, that's the school's problem, that's not my problem. Well, yeah, it is our problem. It's our younger generation, it's our kids. So I mean, I think that there's a lot that relates back to what we're doing personally as a family too, with the homestead and everything I've kind of shared with you, with wanting to be able to impact more people in a positive way, you know, not just for our own family with our medical challenges and trying to improve that, but to be able to share that with others who might be seeking some of the same changes for themselves. So I felt a connection to that too. We're like, yeah, you know, trying to just do better in general for humans. And as Maria said, you know, it's up to you to take a stand, take responsibility for how you act and interact in the world. And I felt that, you know, Stefan said we can conquer any problem if we come together for one cause, which I know you're feeling this whole message, Zach, and this whole concept and this push, I believe, is so aligned with everything we work towards with Community Pay It Forward. And I'm really so happy to see that they're part of the Pay It Forward program, so people can shop in various ways and help support their efforts even more. So that's kind of like my initial thoughts, but that whole conversation was really deep.
It was amazing to me, Stephanie, how much talking to them was almost like talking to you. it was a conversation that almost felt deja vu with different voices,
Yeah.
with a different accent, So it was just, it was all in. Wow, this is like what we've been talking about for a year and a half now. This is what we've been going for since the inception of the company, and then the show and everything else. There was just such familiarity with everything there, and it just felt comfortable. You know how every once in a while when there's a meeting and you meet someone new, there's always a little, standoffish because, well, I don't quite understand. There was never that there. It was like, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
We completely agree with you. It's like, okay, this is weird.
I think if you
So
could have seen me, I was definitely nodding along and listening, and I felt like there are people. Like
yeah,
those are our kind of people. So for
yeah.
sure.
Well, let's go on ahead and get going and start talking about what your role is in all this, just to remind people and do the introduction for the first time of the year,
Oh my
2024.
goodness. So Zach and I came together a while back and we created Community Pay It Forward, our monthly One Hope wine fundraising event where we highlight the smaller nonprofit organizations that we love just to get the word out. We're fundraising for them, but more importantly, let's reach their message and get it out and reach new people, because like you always say, Zach, you would hate to have somebody say, I wish I would have heard of this dot dot dot, then years ago when I needed help here, or when I knew this person who needed this resource. So Zach and I do a really, good job, I think, at getting their message out there. We go live with them twice a month, and we get to talk about their story and what they're working on and what they really need support with to help others. And we open a wine fundraiser for them every month. So whether you need to, maybe you have a late gift, you haven't seen somebody yet, you still need a gift, you need a restock after the holidays, you need to send a gift across the country, we got you. And it can support these really important causes, not just once, but anytime. So, so I'm a cause entrepreneur with One Hope Wine. I can help you through our fundraising page on Facebook, Community Pay It Forward, One Hope Fundraiser. You could find that page easily on that link tree that you see right there. And if you have any questions about any of the wines or how it works, reach out to me through that page and I'd be happy to help. So, wow, New Year, Zach.
Yep. And I would actually like to extend what you said. You said across the country. We have a bottle of wine going across the globe. So my son surprised me by coming to the door. My boy from Japan, and I had no idea he was even in the country. And he called and said, "Hey, can you come and help me carry in my bags?" And I'm like, well, I'm not going to say exactly what I said because, we try to keep this as a family show. And I said words that are not family friendly, but I was very excited. And I went up there and he tried the Her Story sparkling and loved it. Absolutely loved it. And ironically, this is kind of funny. He's got a friend in Japan who specializes in wine, and she wants him to translate for her. So it's kind of one of those things that he got to try a couple of the wines and he got to learn a little bit about drinking the wine and the differences in the wine from what we've got here. And it was just, it all mixed together, and it was a great thing. So yeah, we've got a bottle of wine that's going to go with my son back to Japan. So we're excited about that as well.
That is so awesome. I'm so glad he packed that up and took it with him. I hope he's going to share with that friend when he gets there.
Oh, he plans on it. So
Good.
yeah, I actually kind of hope he does too, because you know what? I know him now, and he might not, just because you know, he loved it that much. So
Well, we don't ship
but
internationally yet, but we do pretty well with shipping across the US, 3 to 5 business days. Some people even tell me in 48 hours they have their wine at their doorstep. So really impressive.
it is
FedEx
very
does
quick.
yeah, FedEx does a really great job with quick deliveries. But what you see on the screen is the fundraising link to the human contract. You can take out your phone camera, hold it up to that QR code. It will take you right to the fundraising link where any purchase is going to support the cause. You can also, if you'd rather, type it in, onehopewine.com/event/202149 will also take you right to that fundraising link. We're kicking off the year with a sweet surprise, though, that's perfect for all your health focused resolutions. You can dive into our low sugar wine sale, which is offering 40% off select wines, and you can enjoy healthier sips all month long. So with less sugar and fewer calories, our wines are, you know, the ideal companions for anyone looking to maintain a balanced lifestyle while savoring the flavors you love. Happy dry January, everybody. This is our version.
What exactly is dry January? I don't think I've ever. Is that just are we talking about the drier wines? Is that
Well, and some people decide to give up alcohol in January after all of the festivities that happen over the holiday season. However, this is our version.
Those are called hangovers. Those are called hangovers.
Our version of dry January is highlighting the drier wines, and you know, whether you're looking to restock your wine rack, you know, discover new favorite wines, get Valentine's Day ready. Who knew? That's around the corner too. Or simply just toast to a fabulous year ahead. The sale kind of has you covered for all the things. And I normally don't talk about this. I was just telling Zach this before we came on live. I normally am not only talking about a sale and numbers and the percentage off or anything, but I think it's really important that I mention the reason why I'm doing this is because the 40% off on our Vintner collection is the lowest you're going to see our wine. And I wanted to just really get that message across, because you can literally spend $13 on a bottle of wine as a wine club member and make an impact too, and get award-winning Napa wine to your door that way. So that's what I'm talking about today. Zach just had the bundle up. That's our Vintner collection bundle. You can also do individual dry wines. So you can build your own box, or you can select one that's already curated for you. And I love that one. That's got a bubbly. You've got your whites, your rosé, your reds in that box. And with Wine Club, that 6-pack is $111, which is unheard of for Napa wine. So I just wanted to stress how awesome the deal is. So I'll break this down just so people understand. As a Wine Club member, you can get our Sauvignon Blanc, our Rosé, and our Pinot Grigio right now, this month, just for $13.50 each. Zach, they're normally $25 retail.
Yeah.
And they are delicious. And these are wines, you know, they're dry wines. So if you're a dry wine lover, this is your show. If you're somebody who likes a Moscato and super, super sweet, this may not be for you. Although I do sometimes sweeten up the Sauvignon Blancs and things like that with fresh fruit in them, which is another option. If you're that person, we can chat about that offline and I can give you some tips. But our Pinot Noir, which is one of my year-round favorites, which I know you have a single photo of, Zach. That one right now is just $14.58. And our delicious Cabernet for just $15.12, which is, it's crazy, you guys. If you've ever been to Napa or you're familiar with Napa Valley wine, this is a really great deal. So if you need a stock up, definitely take advantage. Let's see. You also get to enjoy free shipping with Wine Club. and there are lots of perks and exclusives as long as you're a wine club member. And every purchase is also going to donate to the cause. And you know that about us if you've watched the show before. Every purchase, 10% gets donated back. And I personally, for every $50 that we raise together collectively as a group, I donate another 25. So take advantage of the stock up deal, because that 6-pack you can get that half case of wine just for $111. So I had to tell you about this sale. This was when I saw this drop, I was like, this is what we're talking about on Community Pay It Forward, because it's a really great deal.
Yeah, one of the other things that you didn't mention though was it's not just a 10%. It's not just a 10% donation. There's also 10% that goes into the One Hope Wines Foundation, and the really, really, really wonderful match this month. It's always a wonderful match because it's always talking about different things that we do, but the One Hope Wine Foundation does so much good in so many areas.
Yeah, well, thank you for bringing that up, Zach. So through the One Hope Foundation, our main pillars of giving are for clean water, ending hunger, health, and education initiatives. So we've helped to build schools in various, countries. We've drilled a few wells to bring water to communities that had no access to clean water. And there's a goal to do a lot more of those in the lifetime of this company. We're just getting started, but just learning about those things, it's so impactful, just those communities having access to clean water, these children that, were getting illnesses and things with the clean water, not so much. We had a really impactful conversation during one of our trainings a few years back with Charity Water's founder, and bringing clean water to those communities and just seeing the photos and, the before and after and the conditions before, just we take for granted that we could just turn on a sink, so really, really impactful things happening through the One Hope Foundation too. So yes, thank you, Zach. Every single bottle actually donates twice.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's extremely important that just to expand on what you were saying, we kind of forget here in America, we drink out of a faucet. Imagine drinking out of the same water that your cow does, or that other wildlife does, that that waste goes into, that just runs off the streets and stuff like. This is what happens, and this is unhealthy water, and really can get people, dreadfully sick. This is how a lot of those in the past, a lot of those illnesses happened that wiped out millions. So that's why this is so important. But I just wanted to make sure that we did give One Hope the 2 thumbs up for the hard work that they're doing there. So
if you can put that 6-pack back up on the screen though, really quick, I just want to mention a couple of things about that.
Absolutely.
There are a lot of packs on sale right now, but and they include several of our award-winning wines. You can go click that link, go to the sale tab. It will take you to all of the wines that are 40% off right now. But that collection that's on the screen, I would call our baseline collection, that will please all kinds of wine drinkers. Like I mentioned before, you have a bubbly in there, you have white, you have rosé, you've got reds. However, if you want to explore, there are other collections that are included in the sale as well. Click that button to support, through that QR code, and it will bring you to the website to shop. On the left-hand side at the top, there's a button that says sale. You can check that out. Reach out to me if you have any questions or need any recommendations, but there are other collections in the other bundles as well. So if you're like, I really loved the Cabernet last time, I would love to try maybe a different Cabernet this time, there are those options in those other bundles as well. So if you need last minute gifts for family, friends, clients that you haven't seen yet, maybe since the holidays, or maybe something's running late, plans changed through the sale, or even digital gift cards, we've got you covered. the gift cards also do give back, just to clarify. And I like to call that a win wine. So
Yep.
thanks, Zach.
Dad didn't like the socks, and you want to get him some wine. Let's go on ahead and let's do this real quick. Right here is what the event page looks like. Okay, and so Stephanie, why don't you go on ahead and do me a favor and take us through this real quick?
I can only see the top part, Zach. Can you scroll down just a little bit?
Yeah. So we got 40% of low sugar wines. January, right there's can you?
Yeah.
Are you able to see this? Yeah.
Yeah. So you can click shop now. That brought you to a different screen than I would have expected, but that's okay. You can still click that 40% off shop now. And look at how simple that is. Take off the tab for sparkling wine, though, on the left. You must have had that selected the last time. If you see all the way on the left, how you have, yep. And I love that because you can actually sort. If you're like, oh, I'm actually not interested in all of the dry wines, I want just a certain kind, you can select. Zach, if you go to that bar on the left and you close that tab that says wine type, is there something over top of that, yeah, clear that. You won't see that, friends. Zach was just previously shopping and we're sharing all of his secrets right now. But if you see on the left, it says sale. You can click that tab that says sale on the left, and it's going to take you to all the different bundles. And if you scroll down, and you'll see the difference between retail and wine club. So if you're like, I don't really want all of the wine club perks, you don't have to do that. But what I like to mention is that wine club is super flexible. So even if you decide you want shipments every other month or quarterly or whatever, you can always move those dates around, and you can always select the cause of your choice. So it's not just one, you set it and forget it. You can, support one cause this time around, and maybe next quarter you want to support a different cause. That's okay too. So yeah. See, you can go all whites. You can do a mix starter sips bundle. The one that we highlighted was that Vintner bundle right there, which
right here. Yep.
If you hadn't tried ONEHOPE wine, that's a great introductory way to try, a wide variety of our wines. And that's our baseline collection. That is evergreen, which means we have those wines year round all the time. Some of the other ones kind of sometimes come and go seasonally. Zach will stump me every once in a while and ask me a question about a wine that maybe, is a part-time wine that just came in or something like that. And we have a lot of wine on our website. So I don't have everything memorized. I'm only human.
Right.
But you can.
And look right here. This right here's a great point. You got $15 for Sauvignon or Vintner Rosé, the Cabernet for $16.80. And I think one of the biggest things right now, here's a $150 bundle for $90.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
I
$204 for $174.
I like my free shipping, Zach. I'm that I'm that buyer over the holidays that if I see I'm like $5 or $10 away from earning my free shipping, I add another thing to my cart.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
For me, I'm that person that I don't want to pay the shipping fee. I'd rather it be free. So that's why I like to go in the wine club price direction, because that also is a better price per bottle, but you have a choice. Yes. And our holiday cheers, which is beautiful. I actually have a sparkling New Year. I have right here. Ooh,
wow.
You can't see it well. It comes wrapped like this so that the etching isn't
damaged. Yeah.
Can you see it well?
you can see it. There you go. There you go. Yeah. Wow.
But the holiday
really
cheers is also on sale. So if you're doing some last minute celebrating of some kind, maybe a friends gathering for a holiday after the fact, might be a fun bottle to bring. Bubbly is always fun.
Right. And then again, here is, this is when you go to the event page, this is going to take you, this one is for human contract, the human contract event. So it's just,
Yep, you just
all you
click
got to
that
do is go on
shop
here
to
and shop.
support.
Yep. So, but let's go on ahead and we can get back to your talking about some of these wonderful wines.
Yeah, no, so that's what I had, Zach, for this. I wanted to just highlight the sale, highlight the various wines that are on sale. Definitely, if you haven't gotten on, that is the Pinot Noir that I love that Pinot Noir year round. If you haven't gotten on our community Pay It Forward One Hope fundraising page on Facebook, definitely connect with us there. Zach and I are available through that page all the time. That's our rosé that you just highlighted on the website too. And delicious. I mean, we're entering cold weather season, right? It's winter. So this is the time when I feel like the drier wines and more of the reds are more prevalent among a lot of people, but not everybody drinks red. So the Sauvignon Blanc, like what you're showing right now, might be a good option for someone. The Pinot Grigio, the Rosé. And if you like things on the sweeter side, there are always ways that you can kind of spruce things up, make them sweet. Even with our sparkling brut, which I think is kind of in the middle. I always say, make it into a mimosa, add some fruit. You can throw something together depending on what you're eating, what you're celebrating, things like that.
Yeah, and we definitely ask you to share your recipes with us. Stephanie, she does such a great job of sharing some wonderful recipes with you guys, adding the fruit to them and doing some fantastic things with these wines. And we ask you to please share your recipe with us. Share, hey, some people are new to wine drinking. Maybe some people that never thought of doing something. Share it. It's a fun thing to do. It's a great community to be part of. And this is a great way that you can have fun with your family. I can't believe that Valentine's Day is just around the corner and whoa.
I know. As that came out of my mouth, I was like, we just did New Year's. Not to push it on you guys. I mean, I'm not talking about Easter or any of those other things after, but
it was kind of funny. I was thinking to myself earlier today, whew, the holidays are done, and then you bring that up, and I'm like, going, oh gosh, it's not done. So.
we get a little bit of a breathing break, and then back to business. No, but it doesn't hurt to take advantage of the sale, even with Valentine's Day next month, if you need something, or maybe you're a person like I was. I was that sweeter wine drinker where I didn't really drink the drier wines for a long time. And this is a great introductory price to give something a try if you're not sure about it, just to see if you like it or not and kind of learn from that. And then you can reach out to me because then I can help you. If you say, I really love this one, not so much, then I can kind of help guide you to choices that are similar, in tasting profile and help from there. But what a great show. I am just still sitting back and blown away with how great the human contract is and everything that they're doing.
Again, it's one of those things that the conversation, and I know I'm repeating myself, but the conversation, it was like having a conversation with you, Stephanie, because this is what we do. This is what we want to do. And what they brought up, it's every single person deserves to live the best life they can. And with the human contract, with One Hope Wines, with Community Pay It Forward, we can all work together to make sure that we are giving people the best chance available.
Right.
And I think it's a wonderful, wonderful marriage of great organizations. So once again, right here, you can scan that QR code. It'll take you to the to the fundraising page where you can order some of these wines. So Stephanie just said it, and I completely agree with her. Take advantage to explore new wines, because this is the best price you're going to find. So take that advantage. Try something new. Give it a shot. You never know what you like until you know you like it. So
you made me just think of this too, Zach, because some people will say, oh, I don't like, and then they'll mention a certain kind of wine. Our winemaker actually, shared this, that our taste buds change every couple of weeks. So if there's something that you've tried years ago and you're like, maybe when you were younger, you didn't like a certain kind of vegetable, you drink it now, you eat it now, right? Or drink it now. Some people do drink them, but same thing with wine, your taste buds do change. So great chance to kind of give it a go.
Yeah, and I definitely, when I say this, I don't suggest this for everybody, but after my accident, my taste buds changed a lot. There were things that I absolutely loved prior to the accident. Since the accident, I taste them, still like them, but it's not,
it's different.
It's right. It's not like one of those things that I'm just sitting there, but and so, yeah, like I said, this is a great chance for you as a person, you get to explore what's going on. Stephanie, one of the other things I want to talk about is you have given the 22-hour podcast. You are a huge part of that, and you have donated a gift card to us for the 22-hour podcast. And you want to talk a little bit about that? We were going to use it earlier in the year, but it never came up. And so we've still got a gift card that we're going to be giving away in our silent auction.
Yeah. So I donated that to you, Zach, to use to benefit your program. You guys, Zach he doesn't talk about this enough, but I'll say it. He does a lot of work behind the scenes to try to help so many people. And if that can be a small piece of what I'm doing to kind of help out to raise more funds to help more people, then so be it. But yes, I donated a digital gift card. Zach, I'm not sure how you're formatting it, so I'm not going to go into those details, but you can follow him for the details to enter to win, because I'm assuming that's going to be a drawing again. Am I right?
Actually, it's going to be a silent auction this time.
Okay.
We're doing it. We're doing it as a silent auction, and it's, if you go to this link right here, the Give Butter, and I will put this in I'll put it in the chat a little bit later on. But what you do is you go there to the Give Butter site, and you're going to see, and of course it did that to me. Jeez. I tried to switch it and it messed up because I hit the wrong button. But it's going to look like this. Yeah, it's going to look like this. And as you can see, we've already got one donation from Mr. Steve Solis, one of our wonderful partners. And so we are $100 of our goal of $50,000 towards these organizations that, ironically, we've had every single one of these organizations, Stephanie, on our show so far. We're still looking for a couple more organizations, but you can go to here and then join our auction. Come and check it out, because we've got the gift card from Stephanie, some cast iron skillets, tattoo for here in Northern Colorado. For my card, one of my favorite things in the world, you get a 1-year subscription to your own business digital card, and you can bid on this. We've got books from on the paranormal side of what I do, from Dr. Joy, and 2 books written by Legion of Exorcists on Travel Channel star Sean Whittington, who you get to see his show every Friday right here. And then this wonderful backpack tool bag. Stephanie, I think your husband would love this. Just saying. It's $122 value. I want to thank so much Ace Hardware here in Greeley. they donated this, and it's a beautiful, beautiful backpack. You click on it, and like I said, look at this thing. It is amazing. Just, he could carry around everything.
Love it.
So, yeah, it's just great. And once again, this is just, this is something new. We've never been able to do this in the other two 22-hour programs. So this is new. This is because of wonderful people like Stephanie, wonderful
Growing
people like
every
Sean.
year.
Yep. We're growing. There's some really exciting news for us in Northern Colorado. I will just announce it because I'm too bullheaded not to wait. Buffalo Wild Wings is going to be working with us, and we're looking at the Wednesday before the show. But if you go into Buffalo Wild Wings in Loveland, Fort Collins, or Greeley, 10% of your meal on Wednesday the 21st is going to go to the 10 nonprofits that we are going to be raising for. Folks, Buffalo Wild Wings is awesome. They've worked with us before, and this on that night, you can come. We're going to work on having representatives from Healing Warriors in Fort Collins and Veterans Honoring Veterans in Loveland. So get to go and see our good buddy Bart and our great friend Janet. Hopefully, they don't know this yet, by the way. So if you see them, you might want to tell them because I just kind of announced it. So, but we're going to try to get them to go on in and help us, and you get to learn a little bit more about them. If they're not there, it's, I misspoke. I know I will be in Greeley, and if you want to come in and say thank you to our vets, I will be recording for 1 hour on that day. So come on in. You can sit down with me. You can thank our vets. You can say, hey, we support you. You can have your voice heard. So come and join us. I'll have more information on that coming up soon. Stephanie.
That sounds like a delicious way to give back. I wish I was local
Yeah.
to you.
Well, we're talking to them, and we're hoping that we've got Northern Colorado this year, all of Colorado next year, and the world the year after that, and Buffalo Wild Wings has been always very receptive of everything that we've done. So we're glad that we're getting to work with them again. Stephanie, Happy New Year. It is so great to talk to you again. It does. It just feels like it's been forever since we've done this. So
Happy New Year to you and your family also. I know it does feel like it's been a while, but I'm so glad we're back in action. Teamwork, just like what Maria and Stefan said. We can do a lot more when we come together for the same goal, right?
That's right. That's right. Thank you. I appreciate it. And we will be right back with more information about the 22-hour podcast. So stick around for this commercial. So there's no commercial because you know what? The show's over. We're coming up. We're going to be a little late, so we're running a little late here. I'm going to go and spend a little bit of time with my kids. One is actually sitting here making fun of me as we speak. Well, he's on his phone as we speak, but he's been making fun of me. It's kind of nice having him home, though, the schmuck. But I want to thank everybody. Yeah, that's right. You heard me. I want to thank everybody today for joining us. I want to thank the Human Contract. Again, beautiful, beautiful program. And the Goddess of the Grape, Stephanie Simoes. Please remember to love somebody out there because somebody out here loves you. No one needs to go it alone when we all come together. Look, if you're not helping someone, you're hurting us all. We got to take care of each other because we're all we got. Join us again next week when we bring back Les Simpson from the Transact card, and we're going to get back to normal starting on Monday with the return of Footprints Forward. Until then, please remember to take care of someone out there. It's easy to do, it's fun to do, and, well, damn it, it's nice to do.
stepping out of her fear. Bring me home, out alone, show me the way. You wanna be a part of Sunset Boulevard.